Good evening, and once again, welcome to Cedi Beads Industry. And I'm Razak. I'll take you guys through the process, show you how everything is done by here. And in the traditional bead making, we have 5 types of bead. In our traditional bead making, we have 5 types. And the first type is called the recycled antique bead. That's the old broken beads, like this type, like this one. The old broken ones made from glass. You just rearrange them nicely into the clay mold you see over there. Put them in the oven or the kiln you see down there. Melt it at a very high temperature. After it melts, you use these 2 pins. It's called a pin or hole. You use the big one to press the mold this way, and the smaller one to pierce the hole at the center of it. After doing that, we just leave them on the floor for it to cool by itself. And then it takes an hour, but when the weather is very hot, it takes more than that. We have a special stone there for polishing. We polish them nicely, and then this is what we get from the antique beads. So just the old broken beads, you keep on recycling each and every time. Is there any question for us?
How does it get the color? That's what I want.
Yeah. The color of the bottle will give you the color of the beads.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Or the color of the glass will give you the color of the bead. So the second type is called the recycled transparent bead. And with this type, we use empty bottles like Amarula, Sky, Vodka, Takai, any kind of bottle at all is good for us. We just wash them nicely, take off their labels, crush them into things like this, into a chunk. So you just use this stone, and then the other stone down there, you just crush them that way to get smaller particles like this. And with this type, because of its particles, it takes a very high temperature for it to melt. For about 800 to 1000 degrees, and then 30 to 45 minutes for it to melt. It goes through the same process this way. We shape them nicely. We leave them on the floor for it to cool by itself. After cooling, we take them out and then we polish them. So as you can see, we have our beer or Heineken and then our Coca-Cola turned into beads. And the third one is called the recycled glass powdered bead. And with this type, we use the same glass bottles, but I prefer the clear ones like Coca-Cola, like the plain clear ones. Wash them, crush them the same way. After crushing, we pound it. You can have a look. We pound the glass like the way how we pound fufu. I hope you guys know fufu.
Of course.
Yeah. So you just wear your nose mask. Oh, okay. So you just pound it this way. After pounding your glass, you sieve it nicely with a mesh. This. So we sieve our glass.
To get the thin pieces, yeah.
So you get something like this. So this is our glass.
Oh wow! So that's glass, and it's that
glass.
smooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after sieving it nicely, we use our ceramic pigments for coloring. This our ceramic pigments for coloring. So any color that you want, you just go to the market, you buy them, you mix it with a pounded clear glass to get a bunch of the color that you want. And we use ceramic pigments because they stand for a very high temperature without losing its original color. So after mixing with your pounded glass, we use this. It's called a scoop or the funnel. So we use our scoop to just take our pounded glass mixed with the pigment, and then our wooden stick, and we use cassava leaf stalk to create a hole. Yeah, for the powdered bead. So you just put the cassava leaf stalk in the middle of the hole or the mold this way, and then any design or so you feel like doing, you just tip into it. And with the powdered one, mostly the designs are made in layers. So I take a different color, and then tip that one. So you just put it
in the same hole.
Yeah, in the same hole.
Okay.
So any design or so you feel like doing, you just do it in there. I try to make maybe stripes beside it. Then I take a different color, black, just tip it inside the hole I just created. So any design at all you feel like doing, just tip it, design your bead, fill it to the brim, put them in the oven, melt it, and then with the powdered one, it takes a very low temperature for about 600 to 800 degrees for it to melt, and then 20 to 35 minutes. So after melting, the cassava leaf stalk bends, creating the hole on its own. So you just use the pin to just turn it and then shape them. This is an example. It looks like clay, but it's glass. And then mostly the designs are made in layers. So that's an example I just did.
So this is a powder one.
Different colors. And number 4, that is the glazed bead or the painted bead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the one I see a lot, but I haven't seen these two before. Yeah.
With this type, you can decide to use the transparent or the powdered one, but a single base color. So as you can see, just a single base color. You can decide.
Then you paint on top.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just take my wooden pin, and then we use the same powder mixed with the pigment. By this time, you add a little of water to it. So just normal. And then just stir it nicely. Any design at all you feel like doing, then just paint your bead nicely this way. You just paint it nicely. After doing that, you just leave them for about 10 to 15 minutes for it to dry. When it dries, then you just put them or place them back into the clay mold and then back into the oven. So with this type, you can feel the design outside, but it never comes off because you use the same glass powder and we fry it twice, or it goes into the oven twice. And the last one, that's special for chiefs and queen mothers, and it's called the Bodom bead. Bodom. Yeah. Bodom, B-O-D-O-M. Simply means like backing, like the way outdoors back. And you know, in our culture or in our tradition, when you have a necklace or a piece like this, you put the bigger one at the center of it, like a pendant. And then that attracts people to see the type of bead that you wear. And in our culture, the type of bead that you wear will show how important or how wealthy you are. But we use the same glass powder to create the designs. So he has designed a simple one in a clear glass for you to see. But when doing it, you have to do it in your clay mold.
Yeah.
Use anthill clay or the termite clay or the termite mound. And then we prefer this type of clay because the termites, they go deep down into the soil.
Is this the same clay used for pots or it's not? This is just for
No, this
a
is
different type of clay. Okay.
This one we use the anthill clay.
Oh.
Yeah, or the termite clay. So you just get the clay, you pound it the same way. After pounding, we just roll them on the table this way to form a tube. Cut them into slices. Then we use our wooden bats to just make them round. Press it towards your clay so soft. And then we have different scarves, sticks. Any design at all you feel like doing, you just shape them nicely. So as you can see, we have our cross, our star, our fish, our rectangle or dotted, circle. Any design at all, you just carve them nicely. Whilst your clay is still soft, you just take your carved stick or the shape and then you stamp it to get your shape. You stamp it this way. After doing that, then you just leave them in a room temperature for about 3 to 4 days for it to dry. When it dries, we bring them out to the same number of days. Fire it with a very high temperature. So it's clay, but it's very hard like stone.
Yeah.
Can't touch. Then we use kaolin or kaolin, K-A-O-L-I-N, white clay. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So with this, we just mash it, mix it with water, and then you just dip your clay mold in it to coat the inside of the mold, and then that prevents the glass from sticking inside the mold. So each and every time you want to make a bead, you have to coat your mold first before putting your glass or your glass powder in it. And in Ghana or in Africa, we all know our women wear beads on their wrist. Yeah. And then these are the type of beads that they use. The very, very tiny ones, like this type. And these are the molds we use for those ones. And with this type, we use the same cassava leaf stalk to create the hole. We use the very, very tiny ones. You just place them in each hole. After doing that, then you just use the same glass powder mixed with the pigment. You just put them on top, fill the mold nicely. After doing that, then you just melt it. After melting, your cassava leaf stalk will bend, creating the hole on its own. Then you just take our beads out. So with this type, we don't use the pins to shape it or create any hole. Just the cassava leaf stalk. After it bends.
So how do you get out of this small hole? You have to...
Yeah, so after putting your cassava leaf stalk and then making your bead, we melt it with a normal temperature.
Yeah.
When it melts, we just bring them out. We leave them for it to cool.
Okay.
After cooling, then we just heat it and then take them out. So these are the ovens that we use. We have two of them. And these are the firewoods that we use. We use the hard ones like the neem trees for the transparent bead, and then the palm branches and the soft ones for the powdered one. And in the olden days, they just do or build the oven anyhow. And then one has to stand behind and use bellow to pump air. And then that one is a lot of work and it's very stressful. So this time we've decided, or we've studied how the air blows, and then we've done them in this direction. So the air comes from down to the top. So we just set our fire just behind, as you can see. We put the firewoods behind. When we want to increase the temperature, just keep on adding more wood, keep on pushing. When you want to reduce it, just pull them back or draw them back. Yeah.
So how can you tell? You know you said some is 800 Celsius. How can you tell that you've reached that temperature?
Yeah, at first we use pyrometer to measure the temperature. But right now with experience, when you look just inside the oven, you can know whether it's ready or not. Because when it's ready, inside becomes very clear and then yellowish. And then you can see through the fire. But when it's not yet ready, inside is very dark and then produces like a smoky content.
Yeah.
Then you know that it's not yet ready. But when it's ready, everything is clear inside, the molds are very white, then you just know. And then sometimes when maybe you are not really sure, you just use a spatula to just take them out. You just take one out and then you just have a look. When it's ready, you see that on top is very smooth and then looks like a bit watery. Then you know that it's ready. So this is called a spatula. We use this to take the molds in and out. So when it's ready, you just take them out this way. And then you save one guy there. You save another guy here. You save yourself. And then you work on them very quickly. Or else it hardens up and then you find it difficult keeping them. You have to be very fast on them. And these are the molds, different molds. You can go there and check. Different molds, different sizes.
And what is this for?
That's what we use to shape our beads.
Okay.
So we use the bigger one to press it this way, and then the smaller one to just pierce your hole. Yeah. So these are the pins that we use for shaping them. So you have different molds, different shapes, different sizes. So these are new molds that have been made.
Oh, I was going to ask that why the colour is so red, but yeah, that would be why.
So you can see
Yeah.
they've been fired. So we now have to coat it with this kaolin. The white clay mixed with the water. So you just mash it this way and then mix it. And then just leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then it becomes very white like this. And because of the kaolin, you can't see the actual color of the bead. So we now have to, we now have to take it to the polishing side, polish them nicely, and the color comes out. So I can just wash this.
Oh wow, that colour is beautiful. Favorite colours, green and blue. Yeah.
So these are our beads, and then this is where we do the polishing process, and the polishing process takes about 15 to 20 minutes. We just use normal water that we use, and then normal sand, as you can see. Sprinkle a little of the sand on it, and then add a little water, and do this for about 15 to 20 minutes. So when it's ready, we just use clean water to just wash them. You wash it nicely, put them on the table over there for stringing. After stringing them, you take them to the shop. Bracelets, keychains, earrings, anklets, bags. When they were changing the
Oh, yeah. From like, yeah.
So my grandmother was saying that before you carry my grandchild, that is me, you have to bring it